So on this topic here, that a little bit of dairy can go a long way and a little bit of animal-based foods can go a long way. In the world of diabetes, high-fat diets like the ketogenic diet and the paleo diet to a certain extent are extremely popular in the world of diabetes because they are a get-rich-quick scheme. They're a great way to lose weight very quickly. And as a result of weight loss, people end up getting better biomarkers, including lower fasting glucose. Okay. But I also see this in the world of cancer. I've seen this over and over again on YouTube and on social media where experts, quote unquote experts, are saying, if you eat a ketogenic diet that comes from animal sources, you can actually reverse cancer. Where are they coming up with this stuff?
Someone says, oh, a ketogenic diet improves these biomarkers, or it seems to improve cancer, or it seems to improve this or that, not proving causation that the ketogenic diet is what helped those biomarkers or helped. And there's nothing out there that says ketogenic diet is curing cancer, reversing cancer, proving that it's actually healing cancer of all different sorts at all. But there are studies that show some benefit from ketogenic diet in regards to cancer. Now, here's the fascinating thing. I went and looked at every single study I could find on ketogenic diet and cancer. And you know the one common thing that I found?
What?
Every single one of those studies, the patients lost weight.
I was going to say weight loss every single time. Yep.
So I could put somebody on a water diet, on a juice diet, on a whatever diet I want. I could put them on a sandwich diet.
You could put them on a Big Mac diet as long as they're calorie restricted.
Now, yes, there's some nuances there. Kind of depends,
Sure.
But it'd be hard. Yeah. But if we make sure that their caloric intake is less than their expenditure, meaning that we set them up so that they lose weight, no matter what diet they're on initially for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and that's the longest most of these studies are. Most of them only go 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. There's no real long-term ketogenic diets that I have found that are real trustworthy that I've seen. I could be wrong. Someone send them to me if you found them that actually show a long-term benefit of being on a ketogenic diet. And I mean, we're talking years, data with large cohorts of people, right? Without the risk that comes along with that, the micronutrient risk, the risk of diabetes, like you talked about, the people being on a high-fat diet actually can increase diabetes risk. I haven't seen those. What I see is 3 months, 6 month studies, and that's where everyone's pulling this from. And the people lose weight. Anybody who loses weight is going to see an improvement in all your biomarkers. Any person, right? It doesn't matter because one of the biggest metabolic syndrome markers that we talked about is excess body weight, excess fat around the stomach, right? Soon as we start burning that fat, which ketogenic diet is great for that, plus you're in a caloric deficit most of the time, you're gonna not only feel better, you're gonna look better, and you're going to have improved biomarkers. Now, the question is, can you sustain that? And then does it not increase your risk of other diseases 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? And the my and many others, experts in the field, do not see how being on that diet that long can be healthy for anybody. And in fact, even the top promoters of the ketogenic diet, who are doctors, who I have interviewed and I ask them that question, none of them actually support a long-term ketogenic diet. They all say nobody should be on it long-term. And in fact, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, but not long-term.
Okay. So according to them, then, if somebody should be on a ketogenic diet for 3 to 6 months, what is the sustainable diet that they should transition to after the ketogenic phase is over? Do they even have an answer for that type of question?
So the ones that I've talked to, they say, well, I like diet cycling. So yeah, maybe I'll go on a vegan diet for a few months, and then maybe a carnivore diet for a few months, and maybe a ketogenic diet for a few months, and maybe this and maybe that, right? Like they like cycling like they believe our cavemen did. Anytime people bring up cavemen and the caveman diet and the paleo diet and all these kinds of things, I have to roll my eyes. I'm like, number one, just because people a million years ago ate a certain way and presumably lived very short lives does not mean that's the way we're supposed to eat.
Correct.
Number one. Number two, if they were quote unquote Neanderthals and dumb and, not intelligent people, who's to say that they were eating the foods that were best for them or best for us today, right? Like even going back to when people go, oh my God, these tribes and these other countries, they eat all their own, they kill all their own animals and eat all the organs and all these kinds of things. It's, look, don't you want to be like our ancestors, like the tribes are living today? I'm like, dude, the oldest people in those tribes are 35 years old. You know what I mean? Like now, yes, there is, there are some other things that they don't have that we have today that can lead to their early death. But even so, they don't live very long lives. You know what I mean? And some of that could potentially be because of eating all that meat and all the animal, products that they're eating. It just doesn't make sense to me to go, oh, because people ate this way thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago, this is the way we're supposed to eat. And there's just as much data today from, thousands of years ago that people were eating a high plant-based diet as there is data showing people thousands of years ago were eating a high animal-based diet. There's equal amount of data on both sides. Anybody doesn't believe me, go research it. You'll find the data on both sides. That's still a guess. It's not 100% scientifically proven, right? Like there's no way you can say 1 million years ago, this caveman was eating and everybody was eating exactly this way and they were so healthy and no diseases. It's like, dude, it's a 1 million-year-old piece of bones you found. There's no way you can guarantee that that's exactly what it was on either side. I can't claim all these, these studies have come out and said, oh, look, this tribe 100,000 years ago, they must have been eating a high plant-based diet. I can't claim that as the reason why we should all be on a high plant-based diet today. I can look at not only my own life and improvements in my life, my family's lives over the past 15 years, but all the people I've worked with, all the cancer patients, all the cancer clients that I work with and coach, all the science that I've seen, all the, documented research, all of the people who have come to me and said, I eat this way, I switch this way, I changed my diet, I eat this whole food plant-based diet and my cancer went away. All of those, then I can go, okay, I can take all of this. I can look at the anecdotes, I can look at the case studies, I can interview over 300 doctors who work with thousands of cancer patients. I can look at the collective studies, I can look at the cohorts, I can look at all of it and then make a pretty well-informed decision. I can't look at something 1 million years old and make a well-informed decision off that. Anybody who's doing that probably should rethink what they're doing. Correct.
I mean, I think you said it very eloquently. And there's also this there's this emphasis that, we should be eating a animal-based diet or a high-fat diet because I see these two communities brought up all the time. Number one, Maasai warriors in Africa, and number two, Eskimos. But yet the life expectancy in both of those groups of people is not anything to boast about. Right. And just like you're saying, if you go back thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years, just because our ancestors may have been eating a particular diet does not necessarily mean that they're a model of health, right? You have to look at your modern day environment, your modern day food culture, your modern day, the forces and influences that individuals are exposed to in today's world, and try and come up with reasonable solutions that apply to now. Exactly. And that's exactly what you're saying.